We had a very competitive game. I thought the first half we were suffering from an emotional hangover from the week before, and I didn't think our focus was very good, but I thought we were very willing, and I thought we tried very hard to gain a rhythm, which was, and that's really about the offense, to gain a rhythm on offense, which we had totally gotten out of one the week before. I don't know. I think we made inroads towards doing it. I know we came in at halftime, and there was not a real concern about it, and then we came out in the second half, and we did definitely get into a rhythm. We've had to make some adjustments, you know, the style of quarterback. I mean, but that has an impact on the running backs, the offensive line, the receivers. But I think if we can come back and maintain that, then we will have got the train back on the track. Because it had been on the track, but it was definitely off the track on offense. Now, defensively, I don't know if we've had the train on the track yet. In fact, I know we haven't. We are giving up plays that don't make sense really for us to give up to ourselves. You know, there's not an inability to make a play. There's not the preparation there to make a play. When we miss a play, and anybody that saw the game saw the plays that were missed, the opportunity was there. I mean, nobody's running wide open or devoid of being in position. So I think we're still dealing with a state of mind and a comfort zone and developing on defense a degree of certainty about where I'm at, what I'm doing, how I get it done. We've had a lot of new, and you can practice all you want to. There's a game personality that goes along where you really feel comfortable with a coverage call or a blitz, and I think we are making progress towards it. I think we're still that mule that needs to keep his blinders on and just keep pulling the wagon, and because we are getting better. I think we have gotten better from the very beginning, even though I think we've had different issues in week 2 than we had in week 1 and 3. So, you know, nonetheless, to our fans who have been tremendous for us, these first 3 games, you know, we have this schedule that just makes us a home team in September. And quite honestly, very fortunate probably, because I think the uncertainty would be even more if we didn't have that kind of emotional support that we've got from the environment of playing at home in front of our fans, our students, and our great band. So you know, we got another game at home here. We got another week to go out there. I changed the practice schedule last week, and I'm going to keep it. We are somewhat dealing with the lowest common denominator. Whatever the least needs, all of us have got to help it get done. And that's been a different kind of practice, a little bit more of a fundamental, basic kind of practice. We are about to play an Eastern Illinois team that is much been a challenge for us. You know, when we first came into the league, Eastern Illinois had won the league. I mean, they were just coming out of the Tony Romo era, where they were really the dominant team in the league. And we beat them the first couple of years. It's been nip and tuck to some degree. We've had great games with them. We've had probably 3 of the other 5 games or 6 games have been whoever won it was going to the playoffs. So these games have meant something. They have a history of meaning something. These people are very talented. You know, they bring the sort of the Big Ten they've got just homegrown, big physical football players mixed in with a pipeline of recruiting down to South Florida, which gives them great skilled people. We have a secondary, I think, that probably, I think they're probably all from Florida. Tavares Crawford, I'm looking for a name, I think is probably the best corner we've played against. And that giving him a high esteem. They've got a defensive end, Artavius Dowdell, that makes a whole lot of plays. I mean, those two guys stick out right off the bat, and then you've got Corey Lehman, who's a senior number 8 that has just always made a lot of tackles, has ever since we've been playing them. So offensively, they're centered around their quarterback, who was just becoming their quarterback, Garoppolo, last year. And he was a freshman last year, I think maybe even a true freshman. But he settled into his role as their quarterback and their leader. I think they're like a lot of teams. They're trying to establish a running game and have some balance. But I think right now it's pretty much this quarterback that the whole thing is centered around. We're still evaluating at this hour, what their strengths and weaknesses are. Still in this week trying to transition to better what we're doing to better put players in position to make plays. Some of our players are still new to us. We see something in them a little different every week. Some good, some not so good. We have a commitment to develop players. If they, we miss a tackle on a kickoff that goes for 70 yards. But the guy that missed the tackle is going to be a really good player, and we just got to go right back out there. But we're playing now for the conference championship. Every game is life or death, and that to stay alive in that competition. Anybody can win it at this point in time. It appears just from keeping up with the league that there are a lot of teams in the league that are very capable. I think I'm probably hearing more good things about teams, more teams this year than I can remember ever. So, but we're trying to make sure that we do the right things, play the players in the right positions in the right amount of times. I mean, as coaches, and we put a big responsibility on players to step up, grow up, be accountable, be consistent. Any questions? Any questions?
The couple of the guys were talking Saturday about, and you mentioned this, talking about the practice, what you guys you do during the week. The kids were talking about all pads last week. It was and you said you're going to stick with that for the time being?
Yeah, we hadn't done that in a few years, but that seems to be good for us.
With y'all ramping back up into the conference schedule now, are you about as ready as you can be to get back in the league? I mean,
yeah,
I know what we've just talked about here.
I don't think having another non-conference football game has got any value. Man, it's time to go play. I think there are a lot of teams right now that are going to have to work their way through some kind of situation. I don't guess Murray's going to have to figure out how to complete passes, but I think for the most part, everybody's got something they're working on.
We need to talk about Eastern Illinois. I know we didn't talk a little bit about the Ricks kid, receiver,
oh yeah,
returner more than extraordinary.
Lawrence is he's blocked a kick against us. He's returned a kick against us. He's caught touchdown passes against us. I mean, Lawrence is a great football player. They've done a lot of things to get our attention.
Coach, talk a little bit about the series. A lot of the series with EIU is tied, but they've had a lot of success here. You've had a lot of success at their place.
Yeah, that's a Georgia and Auburn was like that when I was at Auburn. So, I don't know, it seems like maybe players maybe get a little better focus when they go on the road. I don't know. But that's the way it is with traditional games, because Auburn and Georgia was a traditional game. Sometimes that tradition affects you a little more. I remember Texas came to play us at Auburn one year, and it was the only game we lost, 1983. And the guy was a defensive coordinator, later became the head coach. And they played their best football game at Auburn, And I asked him one time, I said, explain to me how this happened. He says, that was such a, teams that identify with tradition, and this is true, you put them in the enemy's arena, it can really heighten their capacity to play. Auburn did that when they went to Georgia. Texas did that when they came to Auburn that day. I guess you'd say these are teams that are not intimidated. You push a button, they go up a notch and fight. And I hope we're that way and we go there. They apparently are that way when they come here. But you'll find a few series that are that way, and they're usually highly competitive, traditional type games. And that environment just gives them an edge, That adversarial kind of environment just focuses them.
You think they become